The yoga most people are familiar with isn't meant for everyone. In fact, in this age, it is highly possible for anyone. The term yoga literally means linking and refers to linking one's consciousness with the Supreme. The different yogic process are named for the particular method adopted to reawaken one's relationship with the Supreme. For example, when the linking process is predominantly through one's work, it is called karma yoga. And when it is predominantly through philosophical analysis, it is called jnana yoga. The Vedic literature tells of the sage Vishwamitra's failure to become self realized after 60,000 years of rigid yoga practice, revealing how difficult it is for even the accomplished transcendentalist to reach perfection by the process of Ashtanga Yoga. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna was naturally concerned when Arjuna expressed the desire to leave the battlefield for a life of meditation. When in the sixth chapter, Krishna presents the analysis of Ashtanga Yoga, Arjuna finds it too difficult and Krishna recommends a more feasible process. Ashtanga means 8 paths, and Ashtanga Yoga is a 8 step process of linking with the Supreme Lord through meditation on His form within the heart. It emphasizes controlling one's mind. The materially conditioned mind is absorbed in contemplating objects of sensual pleasures, sounds, tastes, sights, and so on. By stripping the mind of external engagement and developing spiritual conviction, the advanced yogi directs his mind towards the awareness of Supersoul. Ashtanga Yoga thus offers a feasible process for self realization, and it certainly appeared to Arjuna to be a possible solution to his anxieties, that is, until for Krishna explained the qualification of prospective yoga candidate. To practice yoga, one should go to a secluded place and should lay kusa grass on ground and then cover it with a deer skin and soft cloth. The seat should be neither too high nor too low and should be situated in a sacred place. The yogi should then sit and firmly practice yoga to purify the heart by controlling his mind, senses, and activities and fixing his mind on one point. One should hold one's body, neck, and head erect in a straight line and stare steadily on the tip of the nose. Thus, with an unagitated, subdued mind, devoid of fear, completely free from sex life, one should meditate upon Krishna within the heart and make him the ultimate goal of life. Although Arjuna was a great warrior of the royal family and a close friend of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, because he had responsibilities in his family life and occupation, he represents the common man. He therefore expresses to Lord Krishna his doubt about achieving success by a yoga process that requires one to stay in a secluded place for the rest of one's life. Furthermore, even if such retirement is possible, who but the most elevated renunciate could tolerate the rigid manner of sitting necessary for eventual perfection? Therefore, in an honest estimation of capabilities, Arjuna rejected the Ashtanga Yoga process as suitable for his enlightenment. He says, O Madhusudana, the system of yoga which you have summarized appears impractical and undesirable to me, for the mind is restless and unsteady. The mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong. O Krishna, and to subdue it, I think it is more difficult than to control the wind. Although Lord Krishna has spent considerable time explaining the system of yoga to Arjuna, he basically agrees to Arjuna's analysis. The question therefore arises, what is the practice for controlling the mind? For certainly almost no one in this age can observe the strict rules and regulations of Ashtanga Yoga, which demands restraining the senses and mind, observing celibacy, remaining isolated, and so on. The answer to how Ashtanga Yoga can be practiced successfully is found in an understanding of Vedic cosmology. According to the Vedic literature, time in our universe proceeds in cycles of 43 lakh years, which for our purpose can be called millennium. Each millennium is divided into 4 ages called yugas, which rotates like seasons and have their own characteristics. According to the capabilities of the populace in each age, a particular practice of yoga is recommended. For example, in the Satyuga, people live 1 lakh years and are endowed with exceptional qualities of goodness. The Vedas thus re-enjoin in Satyuga meditation on Vishnu, Ashtanga Yoga is recommended. The Bhagavad Gita was spoken to Arjuna before the beginning of Kali Yuga, the last and most degraded part of millennium. For most people today, even simple spiritual endeavors seems beyond their capacity. The way that thus recommended in the age of Kali is Bhakti Yoga, based on chanting the holy names of the Supreme Lord. Although Bhakti Yoga is a simple process compared to the rigorous of Ashtanga Yoga, Bhakti Yoga based on the chanting of the Lord's holy name is nonetheless considered the perfection of yoga. The perfection of any yoga system is achieved when the mind becomes incapable of deviating from the Supreme. The final stage of absorption is called Samadhi and is described by Lord Krishna at the completion of his description of Ashtanga Yoga system. A true yogi observes me in all being and also sees every being in me. Indeed, the self-realized person sees me, the same Supreme Lord everywhere. A bhakti yogi is naturally fixed in this position because out of devotion he busily engages his senses in serving the Supreme Lord. Furthermore, because of the pleasure derived from such loving devotion, his mind remains fixed even in the midst of great difficulties. In contrast to Vishwamitra Muni's failure to achieve success by Ashtanga Yoga, we find the example of great devotee Haridas Thakur, who resisted the temptation of the Lord's illusionary energy, personified an incomparably beautiful woman. Haridas' perfection illustrates the superiority of the Bhakti Yoga process of chanting the Lord's holy name. The life of the devotees of the Lord thus confirm his last instructions about yoga in the 6th chapter of the Gita. And of all yogis, the one with great faith, who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself, and renders transcendental loving service unto me. He is the most intimately united with me in yoga, and is the highest of all. That is my opinion. So the yoga that works best for this particular age, Kali Yuga, is nothing else than Bhakti Yoga, chanting the holy names of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.